For most of us, we decide, yep, I'm ready to grow my family. And we just assume within like a month, maybe 2 or 3 months, we'll be pregnant. One of the biggest reasons why we're not getting pregnant quickly is because we don't even have any idea when our fertile window is. There are actually only 5 or 6 days during the whole monthly cycle where you could have intercourse and your egg and your sperm would be in the same place at the same time and even make it possible to have a baby. So if you don't know when your fertile window is, you first need to figure out when you're ovulating. Whole video up here about what ovulation is, how to figure out when you're ovulating, so check that out if you have no idea what I'm talking about. But once you figure out when you're ovulating, you need to keep track of it. You need to know, when am I ovulating? When's my fertile window? When should I be having intercourse to increase my chance of getting pregnant as quickly as possible? That's where an app like Natural Cycles is so helpful, because it can keep track of all those signs of ovulation for you and basically give you the green light to say, now is a good time to have intercourse. That's what this video is going to be all about. I'm actually using Natural Cycles to hopefully become pregnant relatively quickly, and so I want to walk you through what using an app like Natural Cycles looks like to track your fertility. Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Nicole. I'm a pelvic floor specialist, and I'm also a mom of 2 that's hoping to be a mom of 3 soon. I joked about this in my last video. I guess 4 or 5 is possible, but hopefully less likely, because I don't know, 4 or 5 kids seems like a lot. It would be crazy for me not to mention the fact that I'm actually using cycle tracking apps to hopefully get pregnant sooner than later. I'm going to be starting with the Natural Cycles app. This video is going to be all about the Natural Cycles app and exactly what you need to put into the app and how you need to use it to increase your chances of getting pregnant as quickly as possible. The first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and sign up. Using the Natural Cycles app is not free, unfortunately. And so you might be asking, why would you choose an app that you have to pay for versus a lot of the free apps? I can't tell you if one is more accurate than another just yet, but make sure you subscribe to the channel because, like I said, I'm hoping to be able to compare all those and give you a very good review of the differences in the very near future. But with the Natural Cycles app, I know for sure that because I'm paying for the app, that's how they're funding getting this app out to everybody. And so I know that they're not selling my information. It says that right on their website. It's in their privacy policy. They won't be selling my email to anyone, which is really comforting to know. The second reason why I'm willing to pay for this type of an app is because it can also be used as a form of non-hormonal birth control. And I am hoping that after this pregnancy, God willing, I will be able to use some kind of a non-hormonal birth control, because I'm just not a big fan of hormonal birth control. If I'm able to use the app before, I can be tracking all this information, and hopefully it'll be really effective for me. And the third reason that I'm willing to pay for this app is because they use a lot of the data that they collect with this app to further research for women's health, for reproductive health, and I just love being a part of that because there is actually very little information about why infertility rates are increasing and what makes our fertility rates better or worse and all these things, and I just love that. If you are willing to pay for the app, it's going to be a $9.99 a month fee, or you can get the annual plan, which I think is like $7.95 or something like that, and then you will have access to the app. And the third thing that you're going to need after you purchase and download the app is a basal body thermometer. This is a thermometer that goes to the 100th degree. It's a little more specific than just something that reads 98.6. They do sell this when you sign up for the app, or I just went to my local drugstore and purchased one, and it'll work just the same. The next thing that you'll want to do once you have all the right equipment is to go into the app and really take a tour around. Look around and see what are some of the features that it offers, what are the pieces of information that it's going to want to collect, where do you input it into the app. The next, and what I would consider most important step of this whole process in using the Natural Cycles app for pregnancy is to make sure you are very diligent in actually putting in the things that the app is looking for. So as you can see here, they're going to ask you questions about what is your cervical mucus like? Most importantly, what was your basal body temperature like this morning? They're very specific about how they want you to collect that, and they'll walk you through that on the app. They want to know, what was your mood like? What was your sleep habits like? If you're on your period, different things like that. And then once you input all that information into the app will give you a very good idea of when your fertile window is. So as you can see here, the color goes from a light pink to a darker pink. When it hits that darker pink or even a reddish color, that means that is your most fertile day. That means they think that your egg is there and ready to be fertilized. You really don't want to wait until that day to have intercourse, because sperm can actually live for about 4 to 5 days in our body. And that's why when that color turns light pink, you want to start having intercourse. Now, I totally get it. I've been there to some extent. I waited about 9 months for my first pregnancy, which felt like an eternity, and I know there are so many women out there that have endured waiting much, much longer than me, and I really am thinking about you during this video, because I know we all make it seem like it's so easy, just have intercourse at the right time and everything will be just perfect, and the reality is, even when you have intercourse at the perfect time, it doesn't always happen like we hope. But in those first months, when you think everything is good and you're just trying to figure out when you ovulate and when to have intercourse, and you're just kind of trying to figure out this whole getting pregnant thing, a great place to start is to go by that red or pink window that the Natural Cycles app shows you and try to have intercourse every day during those 5 to 6 days if you can. If not, every other day is a good amount of intercourse as well. I know it can be straining to have intercourse every day. You don't want it to feel like a chore, to strain you physically, emotionally, your relationship. So do as much feels right for you. But if you want to maximize your chance of getting pregnant, those days right there with that red or pink color, those are the days to do it. If you feel totally relieved that you do not have to have intercourse 24 days out of the month to get pregnant, go ahead and give this video a like. I would really, really appreciate it. In all honesty, using this app to get pregnant is not ideal if you have a really irregular sleep schedule. So let's say you work third shift a few days a week, you wake up at, way different hours when you're working third shift versus you do on every other day, or some days you wake up at 3:30 in the morning for work and other days you sleep until 9. This app isn't really going to be very good for you. They really want you to take your temperature within 2 hours every day. So if I normally wake up at 6:30 a.m., I really want to take it sometime between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m. And they're very specific. They don't want you to get out of bed before you take your temperature. So you do want to be accurate in that, otherwise they're not going to be able to give you an accurate fertile window. Another group of people that this app might not be ideal for is if you have really irregular cycles. The way that this app works is based on the fact that they can track patterns and detect ovulation or anticipate ovulation before it happens. So if one month you have a 40-day cycle and you ovulate on day 16, and the next month you have a 12-day cycle and you ovulate on day 8, this app is not going to be very good for you because it's going to have a hard time detecting accurate patterns. And if this is you, first of all, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor about how irregular your cycle is. And the other thing is you might want to use something like an ovulation stick where you have a more definite sign that yes, you are ovulating, to make sure that you are ovulating and that you don't miss ovulation. Ovulation sticks are very, very accurate and a great thing to use if you are irregular and aren't really sure when you're ovulating or there's no patterns in when you ovulate. And finally, something that we don't always have time to anticipate is planning for pregnancy before we're ready to get pregnant. So if you're someone that's thinking, maybe in 6 months or so, I'm gonna go off the pill, I'm gonna be ready to get pregnant, start tracking as soon as possible. If you know someone that's thinking about getting pregnant in 6 months, tell them to start tracking. Even if it's not with an app, if it's just paying attention to what their body is doing when, how long their cycle is, what they feel like when they ovulate, different things like that, the sooner you can do it, the better. Because if you wait until you're ready to get pregnant and you have no idea when that month you ovulate, you have no data collected to tell you when you're ovulating, and you can't even really feel when your body is ovulating, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to know when you're ovulating, and you're gonna have to wait a whole nother month until the app catches up with you. And really, the more data they have, the more patterns they can notice, and the more accurate that fertile window they're giving you is going to be. To be completely honest, I am very much a newbie to the Natural Cycles app. I am really excited to learn how accurate it is, to compare it to the free apps, and to hopefully use it to get pregnant quickly, but you will be seeing updates when that happens. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss those videos. Until that video comes out, this one over here about knowing when you ovulate is going to be really important if you're trying to get pregnant relatively quickly. I will see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.